And welcome everyone to another episode of the EmpowerMAN podcast. It's your boy Mikey G coming to you live from the free state of Florida, where I'm running on Duncan, as EmpowerMAN often does. Well, at least this EmpowerMAN does. And today I am joined by the man who turned down security detail for Christy Nome out of respect for her family. He is the patriot, the parent, the champion of the Second Amendment, and soon to be Tom Homan's right-hand man. My boy, your boy, boy. Wait, hold on. Sip of coffee. Much better. My boy, your boy. He is Mr. Ice Ice Baby himself, Greg A. Tedora. Numero uno, number one. Liberals, listen at your own caution. Only kidding. Greg T, how are you this Thursday?
What's up, everybody? It's another great day to be alive. Shout out to Christy Nome. Good job. Keep it up. Proud of you. Proud of you.
I'm so proud of you. Proud of you. So proud of you.
Yep.
And I want to give a shout out to my girl, Pam Bondi. I'm sorry. Pam, I love you. I think you're awesome. She is going to do an amazing job. I know what she did in Florida. She is a stud, or a studette because she's a girl, but she is a champ. She's going to do great. RFK Jr. is going to do great. And of course, Tulsi.
Yeah.
And I will say this. I did meet her. Well, I didn't technically meet her, but her back was to me in the green room at Fox News, where, you know, I was told that, hey, that's Tulsi Gabbard in front of you, and I froze. She was by
Can't freeze up, man. Can't freeze up. Can't freeze.
I was a mark. I was a total mark. And she was at the coffee machine, and I was just like waiting for my friend to get out of, you know, his segment. And he goes, by the way, Tulsi Gabbard's in front of you. And I just froze. She turned around and smiled at me. And I was just like, I had a Beavis and Butthead moment. I froze. What can I say? I froze.
Should have gave her a dap. What's up?
I should have been like, you done?
You got plans? You want to get a drink?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just crazy, man. Like, what's it been? Not even a month, and he's just going in there and just restoring some type of. We still have a long way to go to restore humanity. 100%. We have a long, long way to go. But I mean, he's done some good first steps with the banning men and women's sports. That is like you wouldn't have to think you'd have to sign an executive order for that, but it's 2025. Greggy T.
Yeah.
Well, especially in your world, swimmers. I mean, that's crazy.
In my world, my friends, the fellow Olympians, everybody, they're all against it. So they're happy that this happened. I have 2 little girls. I don't think it's fair.
I don't think it's fair either.
And they're getting hurt. So it's people can have your opinions. That's fine, but it's just I'm happy it's getting done. Let's just put it that way.
Likewise.
Yeah, it is sad that it has to get to that level, but
yeah,
oh well.
Yeah, I agree, and that's just why kind of like we have the EmpowerMAN, so we can empower people. Say, hey,
we've always been pro women here. We've always said that it's for everybody. This is catered towards guys, but we actually have a larger female population that follows us, probably because of your extended bio. But that's another thing.
Well, and part 2 is coming soon. Good to cover my 20s and 30s.
Anyway,
but, yes. And as always here on EmpowerMAN, every day here is Veterans Day.
Yes.
We love our first responders, our EMTs, our policemen and women, our vets. Thank you for what you've done. Thank you for what you continue to do in our communities, keeping everybody safe and sound.
Absolutely. And shout out to all the military personnel and everyone here overseas serving, undercover serving. Just be careful because everything's going to get heated a little bit. That's fine. That's what you guys and girls are built for. You can take it. Just be safe. and get home safe to us. We are very respectful and proud of everything that you do.
Absolutely. Because without them, we wouldn't have this.
Nope.
And
Definitely
to
not.
everyone listening, if you see a veteran that
Mhm.
says Vietnam vet or Army vet, because they do like to wear those hats, go up to them and thank them, shake their hands.
Yeah.
It goes a long way. It really does. I met a
Just give him a
guy,
head nod. Just give him a head nod.
nod. You know, I met a gentleman, an older gentleman that served in Vietnam at one of the local places here in Delray. I was going to grab a bite to eat. I had a beer and a bite to eat. And he had a Vietnam vet. He was with his wife. And I sat next to him and I just thanked him. And well, you know, we talked for about 10, 15 minutes. He was telling me about some of the stuff he saw. I came back with Agent Orange and he bought me a beer. That was
Cool.
like crazy,
That's
right? Because
respect.
it should be the other way around. We should be taking care of these guys. So, you know, to everyone that's listening, anyone and everyone that's listening, when you see a vet, thank them.
That's all.
It takes 2 seconds.
That's it.
That's my 2 cents.
Yep.
Greggy T, a big topic today that I want to cover because, you know, we talk to people, unfortunately know a lot of jaded girls that are my friends that just want to go through life alone. I don't need anybody. I don't need a man. I don't need this. I don't need that. I don't need a woman.
Mhm.
A lot of people we know say that.
Mhm.
But let's get down to it. Can you really go through life alone? Greggy T, opening thoughts, sir.
It's not a simple yes or no, in my opinion. It's a personal choice, and it all depends on the individual. As I get older, and if I didn't have kids, there's a lot of caveats. So I have kids, so the answer is no.
Right.
Absolutely not. Can't. And I wouldn't want to, and I don't want to, and I'm not going to. But if I didn't have kids and I didn't have anybody that I was dating or into or whatever, yes, I could. You've heard me say it a lot.
Yes.
I would be completely off the grid somewhere, whether that be near the water in the Keys or like some weird place in the mountains where there's nobody and whatever happens, happens. Like that to me is cool. I like that. So I think I could do that and I would want to do that. But considering the factors I just named, I can't do that. And I don't want to do that, obviously, because of my children and other people.
And I agree with you in certain respects. Like I really don't need anyone. Like because I can cook, I can clean, I can take care of myself, I can pay my own bills, I can, you know, simple things that maybe a lot of people on both sexes don't really have the wherewithal to do anymore. Because we grew up, we were I think that last generation where we had we saw our moms cook, right? Our moms did this, our dads, they took on traditional roles. The roles have changed. Therefore, I think what people have been exposed to has changed. I don't need, and I know it sounds really bad, but I don't need someone. I'd like to have someone, but it's kind of like I got a part-time basis.
Well, want and need are two different things.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't need anybody full-time. Let's just say that. I know it sounds kind of like bad, but it's like
it is what it is.
When it comes to, I think, evaluating the partnership or the person you want to attract in your life, we always talk about knowing your value, knowing your worth, and we both have high standards, and you have to meet all four. For me, I know what someone has to meet, so therefore, I just don't engage anymore because I would rather focus on things that get me closer to my goals. Like you said, I don't need to go out anymore. It's true. I like staying home, but then I feel like I need to go out and socialize because I need that part of my soul to get satisfied. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense. Some people, you've always liked that social aspect, and that's just you. I think that's a characteristic that individuals have. They like to talk to people and be out amongst people and see the energy and feel life. And some people are not like that.
Yeah, I agree. But we all need that connection. And I think no one can truly go through life alone. That's my belief. I think we've got our friends. Like
Yeah.
we've had talks offline about life going forward. Would I like to grow old with somebody? 100%. Would I like to have someone knowing like someone's got my back when I get older? 100%. But we've also seen, changes in society and values change. And that's
Yep.
why, when you have your group of friends, your core group of girlfriends or boyfriends or whatever they are, your boys, your girls, whatever they are, like I couldn't go through life without you and our crew. Couldn't do it.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. And I think as you get older, you become, at least for me, I'm so dialed in and acute to of what I don't want.
Yes.
I don't want to be a part of anything there. And I mean, I'm in the Northeast, so I'm in it where I don't like it here. And I don't, I wish I didn't have to be here. I don't really have a lot in common with people around here. A few I do, but very, very few. And I certainly don't look the norm. And I'm not into the things they're into. And I find myself saying this a lot. Wow, people are still into that. People still do that. That's still a thing. And it's just, it's just not for me. But I'm so dialed in now of what I want and what my goals are and what I want my next year, 3 years, 5 years to look like, that I'm just focused on that. I could care less about anything else.
Right. You have a purpose.
100%.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's huge. And to find someone that complements your purpose I feel is important because you're putting the right energy out there. Right.
It's hard to find that person, but you have to put that energy out there full time, not sidestep it like when it's good or convenient. Like there's people, if you want to just go around like, banging a bunch of people, that's cool. No problem with that at all. But not if you're going around doing that and then saying you want something else. In my opinion, I don't think you're going to attract that because you're putting out one thing, but you want another. And those two worlds don't really blend. And if they do blend, it's not going to be, that's a tough conversation to have because one person or the other is not going to like the fact that the other person's doing that. Here comes judgment, and here comes, everyone has a past. But it's, if you want X, then maybe you should put X energy out there, not Y and expecting X. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
I think you're right, but a lot of people don't know how. And I know it sounds kind of stupid, right? It's like, well, just stop doing this or just stop doing that. But if you're conditioned to doing something for so long, it's like listening to the same song on repeat. You're telling yourself somewhere along the line, you're telling yourself that you don't deserve to have someone to share life with.
But where'd that creep into? Where did that deserve creep into that mentality?
It can go back. It could go back. When you talk about childhood, it doesn't have to be necessarily what someone told to you. It could be what you've observed. Maybe you.
So how do you break that? How do you break the cycle?
Well, first off, you gotta want to break the cycle. Some people just don't want to. Some people don't recognize that. And then number three, I think you have to work with somebody who can help you sort out your stuff. It's kind of hard to sit here by myself. If I'm not connecting with others, it's hard for me to realize how I act or what I am doing when I don't have a friend to say, hey, Mike, you should really stop doing this. Or, hey, Greg, it may not be the best course of action. Because when you're alone and isolated, here's another thing too. And I'm going to go all over the place. So I'm going to try my best to keep it centered. The enemy attacks you when you're alone. And it could be anything. Voices of doubt. Oh, Greg, you're not good enough to get that job. Or Mike, you're not good enough to land that client. Or you don't deserve to own a home. Or you don't deserve this girl's love. Because you know what? When you're alone, and I want to read you something. So this is from the book of Ecclesiastes. I don't think I pronounced that right. Yeah, it's a big word.
I don't know. So it sounded good to me.
I recited it for any Christian scholars out there that want to correct me, please, because I am not the sharpest knife in the drawer. It took me 35 years to graduate college. Ecclesiastes 4, verses 9 through 12. Two people are better off than one, for they can help each other succeed. If one person falls, the other can reach out and help. But someone who falls alone is in real trouble. Likewise, two people lying close together can keep each other warm. But how can one be warm alone? A person standing alone can be attacked and defeated, but two can stand back to back and conquer. Three are even better. Remember this one. for a triple braided cord is not easily broken. So along those lines, I feel God did not make us to live in silos. God did not make us to be alone. And whether it's like you and I are in different states, but we talk every day, almost. Obviously, we all have stuff going on. Or our friends, we're in a group chat every day. So it's not that we are alone. Let's hope we don't lose our phones.
It's the greatest group chat ever.
It's true. It's true. To anyone who has a group of friends like ours, make sure you lock your phones.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? I mean, Greg, you know, I guess my next question is, I think I've seen a lot of women, my friends, use that as a defense mechanism. So my question to you is, and I'm sure
use what as a defense mechanism? I know what you're saying. Anybody that's listening that got lost?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all right. So I don't need to be alone. I don't need anybody. I'm good alone.
Okay.
I don't need anybody. I mean, I have a beautiful girlfriend, like friend of mine, and man, like it's you try to help them out, but there's no breaking that wall down. And I think a lot of people, both men and women, I used women in this example because that's the example that came to my head.
Yeah.
When people say they don't need anyone, because I've said it too, do you think it's a defense mechanism? Or do you really think, like we talked about it, and I just laid out some examples, do you really think people can go at life alone?
So I think for some people, yeah, it's probably a defense mechanism. I don't know who you're talking about in particular. I don't know her. Maybe it is. And maybe at 50-50, maybe it is because they're maybe upset they don't have a man or whatever or a partner. And it just, once you put that defense up, now you're backpedaling, you're on defense, and you're trying to justify your own sadness or emptiness or whatever by just deflecting a little bit of the consequences of actions off of yourself. Now, I don't know who you're talking about, but I'll ask, like, how does she behave? Honestly.
She's super cool. I mean, I see her at the gym all the time.
I know a lot of cool girls that are freaking crazy. I'm just asking.
We're friends. Of course. I'm sure, like, you know, we're all crazy in our own little way. And I'm sure, like, I don't see the crazy. But, I mean, if you're that wounded and that, like, somebody did that much damage, or you have such a wound that's so deep. And I think a lot of us, you know, I mean, you know, we've all experienced that type of hurt where you're able to put that wall up. I mean, I look at the examples in my life after my family situation. I mean, my mom just shut it down. And I mean, you know, and never in all my years, I mean, never, because she felt like she wasn't good enough. She didn't, and she didn't deserve it. And it was just, it's been 40 years of self-deprecating behavior that has led to health, you know, risks and health stuff that she experiences because, you know, of that one incident. And I think a lot of people too need to find a way to deal with that hurt, because since you and I were, when you and I weren't even a thought, right? Like, whatever you believe, God knew us before he formed us in our mother womb. So he knew us, the strands in our head, everything. Look at my hair. I mean, going on 47, no grays. Like, he knew I wasn't going to have any gray hair.
Look at my beard, man. It's just exponentially getting grayer by the week.
You know what, though? But I
don't care.
Grayer in my beard. I started going gray at 29. So I got you on that. What I'm saying is, like, I think that, you know, whatever you believe in, like, you have to find a way to deal with that hurt or that wound that someone gave you so that you can open yourself up to allowing someone into your life. Because we're not meant to be alone. I mean, this is before we were even formed. It was written 2,025 years ago. We're not meant to be alone.
Is your friend a serial dater? Is she like?
I don't know.
Okay, so we don't know details. All right.
I don't know deets.
You know, and listen, I'm sure she has work to do on herself to get out of that headspace. I do agree with everything you just said. And then there's a caveat to what you were saying. That's what I was writing down. A lot of people that, I don't want to say suffer, or a lot of people that do what you just said, that I'm not good enough or whatever. They have that outlook and then deflect by saying, oh, I don't need anybody. When they actually do have somebody good they fuck it up. Because a lot of people, we'll talk about girls, because since we've dated girls, some girls date a lot of assholes. We know that. I've had friends that date asshole after asshole after asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Then they actually meet somebody good. They don't know what to do with it, and they totally screw it up.
Mm-hmm.
Treat them like shit. Da-da-da. I'm like, you've been looking for this for years.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually everything you haven't had, which you said you didn't want anything like the past because it was all a mess. It was a train wreck. You have a good guy now. They don't know what to do with it, and it's out the door, and they're back on that rotational cycle of assholes. So a lot of people don't know what to do when they have something. And guys, certain guys do think about that.
I mean, just because we have self-awareness, I think when you interact with people, it's you, and you see like we call them red flags. I mean, I'm sure other people use that term as well. And it's not a detriment to anyone's behavior, but it's an alert to yourself saying, am I willing to tolerate this? Now, when I was younger, I was more lustful. So I sacrificed just because I was more into the physical. So I dealt with a lot of things that, man, I should have never dealt with. I mean, you probably done the same, but I'm saying like things like you talked about, you're honed in. I'm like you, I'm very focused on what I want and what I don't want. And while you can find someone attractive, when you see what comes with that package, it's like, do I really want to deal with this on this level? And for girls like, your friend there, she goes back. You always said this, girls always go back to what they know. And I think guys do the same thing because that's what they're conditioned to. How do you recondition yourself? That's the question.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And it starts by looking at yourself in the mirror. Why do I keep making these decisions? Why do I keep doing this? What am I really longing for? What is it that I really want? And one of the things that Greg and I are working on, it's going to be coming out soon, not in the immediate future. It's an EmpowerMAN journal. So journaling is a great tool that we both used, and it's really just sitting down and mapping out. It's like a roadmap for your life and your goals. What are your goals? If your goal is to get married and have kids, but yet you're still running around doing X, Y, and Z, why are you doing that? Well, it's what you know, because that's all you know is going out there. You're figuring, I'll meet somebody out at a bar if I do X, Y, and Z, because you need a pool to meet people from. But is that taking you further or closer away to your goals? So how would you, Greg, as a coach, recondition a man or a woman that comes to you and says, hey, I want this, but I'm still doing this type of behavior?
I just work backwards from not the problem, but what they want. So, okay, you want, I don't know, we'll talk about girls. You want eventually to get a husband. Okay, what does that husband look like? Are you financially motivated? Are you family motivated? Or because there's a difference and they're all out there. I'm not hating. I know a lot of girls that just marry for money, which that's their thing. All right. That's a whole lifestyle you choose. So I don't want to hear any complaints, whatever.
100%.
But let's go. I just want to find a really good family man. Okay. Fine. No problem. So you want to find a guy that is family oriented, has similar values, like we talk about everything. He doesn't have to make X, but you want that security and you want to be comfortable and have a life and financially secure. Okay, now step back. Where do those guys go? How do those guys think? Not all of them, you can't think for somebody, but generalize. And more importantly, this is my personal opinion, what do those guys not want in a girl? And if you're in that category of what they don't want, or if you're doing what they don't want, I'm telling you right now, they are not going to give you the time of day. Not that you want. That's why I think, this is totally off tangent, but that's why I think a lot of girls, women, are going to have problems in the future because of all this OnlyFans shit.
Yeah.
Every Tom, Dick, and Harry has an OnlyFans. Yeah. It's actually like a joke. It's a joke. I'm not saying you can't find guys. Obviously you can. You want to film content. I love the word content. Whatever. You want to film whatever, that's cool. You want to make money. I'm pro business. All good. But it comes at a cost. And if you're one of those people that wants a family man, those odds are extremely not in your favor. Good guys do not want that. They want nothing to do with that. Same for girls. Don't want guys that are just, going around doing their thing, taking trips to Colombia and all these countries that we know a lot of guys do. Never understood that. Not my thing, but not hating. They don't want that. People that want a family, they don't want that. Now, I'm not saying don't have a past. See, people always like, well, I got to live. That's not what I mean. It's not what I mean. But if you're continually doing this as you get older, people don't want that. And if you have to be honest with somebody. You have to trust somebody. They have to trust you. With trust comes honesty. You have to have conversations. I'm not saying ask them how many people they've been with, but there's stories and you want to engage and you're talking to them and, oh, I remember this time or whatever. Or they might hear a story about you, which you and I have had a million times. And everyone's like, you did that? It's like, yeah, I did. What am I going to say? No. Yeah, I did. And then here comes the judgment, or here comes whatever. But it works both ways, because you can hear stories about so-and-so. You're like, I don't want anything to do with that person. Nothing to do with that. You got to be careful. That all goes out to putting out what you're attracted to. So if you want a husband, or if you want a real family guy, okay, what are you doing about it? Where are you going? And what are you not doing that maybe you should be doing more of? I don't know.
And spot on. And I will say, to add on to that, I feel that a lot of the contributors to OnlyFans might be alone, and they're longing for that connection, and they're willing to pay for it.
I don't even blame the women, the girls.
No, I don't. No,
it's these loser guys. They're all losers, all of them, that just pay for these accounts. Oh, it's only $10 a month or whatever. You're an idiot. And you're just, they pay for this. It's a joke. And I have no respect for that, but I blame the guys. I don't even blame the girls. They're the market. The loser guys are creating the market.
Right.
Because they can't get a girl. They can't talk to a girl. They have no skills outside of like hiding behind their computers or whatever. They can't go out and meet somebody. They have no game. I have no respect for that. I have none. And I don't care who I piss off. I have zero respect for that.
Right. And I'll
So you know what, girls? Why not make money off it? Go make your money, but it comes at a cost.
Right. What do you?
Because you always got to up the ante.
That's right.
You always got to up it up. Oh, I don't show my body. Then you show a little bit. Then you end up showing your body. Then they want me to do this. They want me to do that. It's always upping the ante. Upping it. How fucking high can you go? It's got to stop at some point. And like, I'm sorry, what loser guys are doing this? The losers. Losers.
Are they losers or are they lonely?
They're lonely losers. I'll say it.
They're lonely losers.
That's my opinion. I'm always been against it. I don't respect it. Go out and talk to a girl.
What if you don't have the skill set to talk to a girl?
Then fucking work on it and get the skill set.
You
got to practice. How do you get good at your stupid video games? You practice. You're not born good at video games. Put the time in. Don't get me started.
EmpowerMAN After Hours with Greg.
My mom's watching. Don't get me started. Come on.
But you're right. You're right. I mean, I think you don't blame the girls. They're, since 2020, I think that's when OnlyFans was. I mean, I would imagine around the pandemic or somewhere around like that, because I didn't hear about it prior to 2020. People were isolated. They were in silos. We talked about what they were trying to do to our country, divide and conquer. They're still trying to do it, but it's getting silencer and silencer and silencer.
They'll never stop trying.
They're never going to stop trying. But again, it comes at a fact that you can't do life alone. And I think those people that struggle for that connection and that longing, and they're willing to pay for it. And, you make a great point about, OnlyFans, but it's a bigger problem, because we're not meant to be alone. We're not meant to have like virtual friends. We're not meant to have these. I mean, you and I have been friends I've known you half my life. So we can communicate virtually because I see you multiple times throughout the year, and we also have known each other half our lives. But if you got somebody who is isolated and maybe, since 2020 has been conditioned, like wearing a mask. Now I'm conditioned to be alone. It's, and they're longing for that connection. And I think that's really the problem is that we can't do life alone. And whether it's OnlyFans, whether it's looking at like some type of videos or pleasure online, like you want to connect. Men and women, men and men, women and women, we all want to connect. And that's why I feel like we can't do life alone.
Okay.
But how do you recondition someone? How do you give someone a skill? How do you recondition someone to say, hey, listen, the hurt you've dealt with, you got to get past that.
I don't think you can give somebody a skill. You might be able to help them create or chisel out that skill by talking about it and figuring out what they truly want. And I'm not sure, but like the girl you spoke about, your friend. Oh, I don't need anybody. I don't need anybody. People that don't need anybody don't go around saying that. Just saying. They don't just offer that up. It's maybe, I'm sure if I had to put money on it, if you broke it down, they probably do want somebody, but they don't know how to go about that.
Or they've been burned so many times that they just.
We've all been burned. We've all been burned. We just got to keep a clean slate with the person you're starting out with, but I know that's hard for people. It's hard for me, me with trust, but you got to just keep going.
Here's a counterpoint. I find it as I get older, it gets easier.
What does?
To be alone.
100%.
It gets easier to cut people out. It gets easier because, like you said, when you have purpose and you have passion and you have things that you want to accomplish, it makes it real easy to narrow that scope. Like you said earlier, like you're so laser focused on where you want to be 1 year, 3 year, and 5 years from now. And I think one of the ways that we can recondition someone is to get a goal. Get goals. Like if you're just doing the same thing that's over and over and over again, have a goal. If your goal is to get married, you should probably hang out with people that are married so that the lens, that way you're looking at life, it's different from going out to a bar when you're around single people. Oh, I want to get married. I want to be in a relationship. When you're, do you know what I mean? Like you should maybe change the locus of your friendship circle. I mean, what are your thoughts on that, Greg?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't think you have to hang out with only married people, but I think seeing that might solidify you actually do want that, or it might solidify I'm not ready for that. I don't really want to do that yet, which is also good because you're not shining yourself and you're not pulling the wool over on your own eyes. I think people just have to be honest with themselves. Do you really want that, or can you really do that? And yes, I agree with setting goals, but people tend to set unrealistic goals. I'm gonna make $1 million this year. Could you? Yes, you could. Of course, you could. I'm not saying you can't, but let's be real. What are the odds of that? So if you're gonna start setting goals, set attainable goals, and that adds to you start knocking them out. You feel good, and now you can look back and say, "I hit all my goals." Now you can step it up, and that's that's in any category, like finances, work, relationships, friends, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. But it all starts with being honest with yourself. Like everyone's like, oh, I don't need anybody, or I'm done dating. Like, are you really? I've never met somebody that said that actually stopped. Come on.
Well, we have a friend of ours I wish he would start dating because it's been a while.
I get it. No, I get it.
Yeah, I know.
I get it.
I know. And he's a brother to us, and it's just really sad.
Listen, it sucks for you girls. He's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a loss for you guys.
Yeah.
But I understand his mentality. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plus, also where he lives, it's hard up there. It's different.
Yeah.
I'm not hating on where he lives. It's just different.
Yeah.
And it's a different pool of selection. And look at where he works. You ain't finding anybody there. You're lucky to go home alive.
Yeah.
Let alone meet somebody. You're not meeting anybody there. But it's pools. I don't think he has a pool to select from. But he also is happy. He don't want a pool. He has his goals. He's doing his things, and he's happy. I truly think he's happy, and he doesn't need anybody. That's my opinion.
Yeah, And we never know what people fight behind closed doors. Like, as far as like, when I hang up the phone with you and turn this camera off, like, you don't know things that I might struggle with or
Mhm.
vice versa. So everyone's
Mhm.
got their own battle. But I will say this, and I want your opinion on this. Environment is everything. And for example, going to CrossFit, I'm around a bunch of healthy people that like to work
Mhm.
out.
Mhm.
So the more I'm around that, the more I'm inclined that I'm going to be absorbed in that environment. And even when I leave and I'm not there, because I've been conditioned to going there, I'm going to want to do stuff on my own. How can I work on this? How
Mhm.
can I work on that? Oh, I got to get
Mhm.
this class in. Oh, I got to do this. So, for people that are struggling, that say they are okay being alone, but they want to be with somebody, you got to change your environment. You gotta switch it up a little bit. I think environment is key. No matter whether you're working out, whether you're working towards your goals, you gotta change the scenery, and it could just be going into a different room, hanging out with different people. What are your thoughts on that, Greg?
I agree, and seeing, change your scene. So, yes, I agree with it. But some people can't change their scene, and it goes back to what I said. I don't like the Northeast anymore. I was born and raised here. I had a great
Yeah,
childhood. We all know that. I love it. I wouldn't change a thing.
yeah,
But I don't like living in the Northeast. I don't like the people. I don't like where their heads are at. I don't like the social stigmas that are put on and keeping up with the Joneses, and everything is expensive and money, and it's money driven, and it's all money optics with families and houses and cars and all this bullshit. Like I said, I can't believe people are still into this. Like, I go back to Westchester sometimes, like going into a fucking time machine. Like, people still do this shit. Anyway, and I'm from there, and whatever, call me a hater. I don't give a shit. People still do this. But even if you're forced to live somewhere, like if you're divorced, or if you can't leave because you have kids,
mm,
I think you still can change your environment and change your scenery. So I'll use me as an example. I physically have to be here, but I could care less. I've changed my scenery outside of where I live, like you said. So now I'm like laser focused on everything that I want. Nothing I want is here. Nothing. So I'm focused on getting my things where I want them. My goals are in other states and whatever. That's what I'm doing. Do I physically live here? Yes. But I'm not letting that define who I am. I'm not letting it bring me down every day that I have to be here. No, I'm just using that as motivation and fuel to get me out of here quicker, and to get my goals and to get my girls the best life possible. That's all I care about. So I still think to the people that, oh, well, I'm trapped, I can't go here. You make the best of the situation. You might have to have a roof over your head here, but that doesn't mean you're trapped here. All your goals could be somewhere else. Your scenery, change it to the best of your abilities. You can stay in your own world here, yet not be here. I know that's kind of weird to understand, but I'm just saying.
not at all. Sounds like there's a lot of gratitude behind that. So you got a roof over your head, you've got
Mm-hmm.
certain things, and
Mm-hmm.
you're there physically. You may not
Yeah.
want to be, your goals are in other states, but you're grateful for what you have,
Yeah.
but you're also making the best out of the situation. So that, I think, enables a lot of gratitude. So obviously, I think there's one lesson I can take away from that is like, be grateful for what you have and then build on that. Like, I'm grateful I have a roof over
Mm-hmm.
my head. Do I want to own a home someday? Yes. But right now I've got an
Mm-hmm.
awesome apartment. I got an
Yeah.
awesome cat. I have the wherewithal to afford a nice apartment. Some people, like in Los Angeles, don't even have a home. Right. So it's like, that's what I took away from that. And that's a great message. I think we can all, take your message and be a part of it. But I think also, too, I think along the way, you've also narrowed the scope of people you communicate with. Is that correct?
Narrowed. That's a very nice word, Mike. Narrowed. I've completely just demolished everything. So I have a few, and I also don't, a lot of people, because it's all on social media and in shows and everything, like they all play the victim. My ride's here. No, just kidding. You know, the they
You
play
actually
the
got me on that one. I'm like, where are you? I was like, really?
they play the victim.
This is coffee, folks.
They play the victim, and they don't allow themselves to do all the things that you just said and take away the motivation and the goals. I can never do that, or I can't do that because I'm here. Why not? It's only because your mindset is that you can't do that. So you can do that if you want to, if it meant enough to you. So I don't know. I think the whole victim thing is just it's just old. Like, get over it, or just be a victim and shut up and deal with it. I don't want to hear it. If you're not happy with your life, then figure out what you don't like and get rid of it.
Yeah. And it's funny we talk about environment, but I think over now, as we've got some common sense, hopefully getting restored in this world, for the last 4.5 years, we've been conditioned to be victims. And we
if
just
you notice,
pass the blame.
100%, and
pass
if you
the blame.
notice, if you're on Instagram, and I'll use Instagram right now because that's the only thing I'm not on anything else. When you're scrolling, like, people do a lot of mindless scrolling, you know, whatever, it's all good, I don't care. But you see they suggest things. A lot of people just keep going. But if you see something that you don't like, you can hit, I don't want to see this shit. But that's, I think, healthy. So, because they're putting that in there. Why are they putting that in there? Why am I seeing certain things about LeBron James and his son playing basketball? I can give a fuck. I don't care about that guy. I don't care about his kid. I don't care about basketball. I don't want to see that shit. But why does that come in there? Weird things come in my feed, and I want to make sure that I don't see that shit. So I make sure I don't want to see it or hide it or whatever it's called. Like, I'm not interested. And now I've noticed my feed is a lot cleaner to what I want to see. Literally. And if there's something remotely close to what I don't want to see, I will physically make the effort I don't want to see that again. But that's all part of, I think, a bigger picture. They're getting people to think a certain way. Certain things will start creeping into people's minds and it screws them up. Or somebody could be on a good path, almost like a recovering alcoholic, but they're going to slip in an alcohol ad, or they're going to slip in like a 6-pack. Like, why would you do that? And now they're derailed. Same thing with somebody that's trying to hit a goal or whatever, or be a certain mindset, and then they see something that sets them back. You have to make the effort to make sure you don't see that again, because it's coming from you everywhere. Instagram, society, you talk to people, because most people are just like robots. They're all the same. And once this is so weird. It's like the Matrix. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And I'm glad, but like, I can see right through people in 5 seconds now. And I can say, I want nothing to do with that person. I can already tell they're that type of person. Yo, hi, bye, that's it. I'm cool. I'm not like a dick to you, but I'm not talking to you. I know I have nothing in common with you. I know I don't like, and they might say the same thing about me. That's cool. I don't care. But a lot of people around here are all fake to each other. I mean, down there too. They're all fake to each other's faces. And then as soon as it's, oh, that person's a piece of shit, or I don't know. It's all that shit's weird to me now. I know I'm old and grumpy now, but I just see that and I'm like, then why waste your time? Like, why even say hi to that person? Don't say hi to them. It's not hard. Don't say hi. I don't say hi to people. If I don't like you and someone's like, oh, hi, Greg, I'm not saying hi back. I don't like you. It's I don't know. It's easy to me. I don't want to be fake. I don't have time for that. You're either on my team or you're not. That's it. That's it.
I had no idea Boca was fake.
Boca's very fake.
I had no idea.
Listen, I love Boca. I still love Boca. I spent a lot of time there. I had great times there. I love Boca. But goddamn, it's one of the fakest places ever. But
who would thought?
You make the best of it.
Yeah, I do the best I can down here.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're spot on though, Greg.
People don't like to hear it, and people think it's harsh or he's angry. Yo, I'm not angry. I just don't have time for that. There's a difference. And people, misunderstand like anger with passion. We talk about it all the time. Or, you know what? I'm just not down for that, and I don't want to hear it. And that's it.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
Yeah. It's funny because as you do get older, like I have a ton of acquaintances, but my friends, I can count my friends. In fact, I'm already planning my 50th birthday party, and
Oh
I
boy.
know exactly who I'm bringing. And it's not like it's going to be some wild stuff. It's just going to be people that I genuinely love and care about, that are
Hmm.
like my legit friends. And I'm grateful. Like, I do know a lot of people, and I enjoy
Hmm.
talking and meeting different people. But when push comes to shove, who I let in now
Hmm.
is very narrow, because, like yourself, is this person getting me closer or taking me further away from my goals? Do I keep
Hmm.
this person at a distance? So it's like, if you're not on my team, then this
Yeah.
is where I'm heading. If you want to jump on, great. If not, listen, I wish you all the best. Take care. But like my pastor said, and we talked about this many, many episodes ago, show me 5-year friends, I'll show you your future.
Yeah.
And we've got our group of derelict friends that communicate over text message. So I know my future. Thank God Trump won and restored free speech. Only kidding. Only kidding.
Mm.
But Greggy T, let's put the bow on this episode here, pal. Give me some final thoughts about. We covered a lot of great topics and situations and scenarios regarding living life alone. Give me your final thoughts and give us a little bit of a takeaway from either choosing to live life alone. Can you really live life alone, or do you really want to live life alone?
I just think it starts with, and you're the only person that can answer that question. And you have to be honest with yourself. And if you're not honest with yourself, it'll never happen. You're going to be a mess because you're going to be scrambling in 50 different directions. And it's some people don't know who they are or what they want till much later on in life. That's fine. That's totally normal and cool, in my opinion. But you have to start figuring out what you truly want. Once you know what you want, then you can figure out, can I go at this alone? Yes or no. And then if it's no, then okay, what type of person do I want to do this with? And then make sure that they align with your values, or else you'll end up divorced.
Remember, friends don't let friends date outside of their parameters.
Yeah, friends don't let friends get married. Thanks, Mike. Just saying. Anyway, know what you want and then figure out if you can go at it alone or not. And if you can truly go at it alone, if that's what you want, cool, go for it. I'm all for that. That's fine with me. But if you're a social person, you probably the answer to that is easy. You need that social stuff, which is fine. Then don't fight doing something alone because you already know you can't. So then now figure out what the next step is. But only you can answer that. Nobody can help you with that. They might help you with actions once you know your path. You have to know your path first,
Right.
then work from there.
I agree, and I'll say this to close it out. I don't think you can do life alone. I think you need to be very clear about the people that you want in your life and put that
Mm.
energy out there. Whether it's
Hmm.
changing your environment, whether it is doing something outside of your comfort zone, but it's in the Bible. It's how we were made. We're not meant to be alone. Unfortunately, I know a lot of lonely people that go throughout life aimlessly. And I have family members that are alone and have been alone, and their interactions are very limited. But we
Hmm.
all crave that type of interaction. And I also think it's not fair to project your stuff and your loneliness onto someone. So you have to be aware of that, because you're going to chase people away. So you have to be happy with yourself. You have to get in touch with yourself and realize what makes me happy. What are my goals? And what am I doing to work towards my personal happiness? And what am I working towards my personal goals? And I think if you keep doing that, like you had alluded to, Greg, and I'll just exacerbate that, if you focus on what you want, you will attract the right human being.
Agreed.
Therefore, you are not meant to live life alone. We know people that have, lost, partners and spouses and whatnot, but were able to move on in time, because,
Hmm.
again, we weren't meant to be alone. Some people aren't, and that's okay, but they're not alone. They
Yeah.
have friends, they have people. So to say we can go throughout life alone is really a contradictory statement, because if you've got friends, you've got family, you're not really going through life alone. You do choose, however, to live in a silo. If you do choose to live alone or to be alone, that's your choice. But just realize your choices aren't a reflection of what you were meant for.
And be careful in settling under the optics of not doing it alone. Because a lot of people, I know a lot of people that are married and miserable because they're just settling. And I'm sorry, I don't think that's a way to exist. Because you're guess what? You're alone. You might not look like you're alone, but you're alone. And obviously it's not what you want. So that's a whole other topic and discussion for another day. But we see a lot of people settle. See a lot of people, the last one picked during a game. It's like the last two, I've said this before. The last girl in school not to be married, the last boy not to be married. I guess 90% of the time they end up getting married. Yeah, that's not a good look. Just saying, that's my opinion, and you're alone anyway. But whatever.
Agreed.
Typical. Yep.
Well, I'm going to close out by giving a shout out to Tunnel to Towers. I think it's a great organization. I wore the hat on Monday when I posted a story. I will be promoting the heck out of that. I love that organization. I had a chance to meet the founder, Steven Seiler, I think is his name. I met him a couple years ago. It's an awesome organization. It helps our veterans. It helps our first responders. It helps people that are on the front lines, have a quality of life when they come back from duty. So I definitely encourage everyone to check that out. And we'll put the link in the bio to make it easier for you to check out what they do. Craigie T, any shout outs, any final closing announcements?
No, the only thing I'll say is, this is way off beat. When you're on a plane and there is really bad turbulence for over an hour, the last thing you want to see on the screen in front of you is a plane just crashed. Yep, just happened to me this past weekend. Not fun. Glad we made it. And like the guy next to me was like, "Yo, is this it?" I'm like, "Yeah, maybe. Might be. It was one of those plane rides, my friend." Yep. So anyway.
And you know what? That's a great point. And I'll leave it at this. You're not promised tomorrow.
Nope.
Just as you had that awakening to. So just
you
live
don't
every
have
day
control.
To its fullest. You don't have control of what's going to happen. Live every day to its fullest. If you love someone, tell them you love them. If you don't like someone, try your best to forgive them. I mean, life is
that's
so
your
short.
department. I still have a hard time with that. Not good at that. Anyway, yeah, that was fun. that took a couple years off my life. My nerves were shot after that flight, my friend. Oh my God.
Well, that sounded like a nice cigar and cognac thing.
Guy looks at me, he's like, "Yo, is this it?" Yeah, maybe. Might be nothing we could do. Just hopefully we don't feel it. It was so weird, man.
Well, you survived.
The only thing that calmed me down,
yes,
was, and this goes to our shout outs when we start every episode. We had an army guy on my plane, full gear, like full uniform, everything.
Love him.
Just had his headphones on, rocking out, like could care less. Like, I know we were good. He didn't skip a beat. He was not nervous. Everyone was like freaking out, and I just kept looking up at him, like he was like probably 4 rows in front of me, diagonal. He didn't care. He was cool. So I'm like, all right, this isn't that bad. If he starts freaking out, then that's a problem. So, because I'm sure they've been on some sketchy airplanes and helicopters. So, yeah, I kept looking at him. If he started looking nervous, then I would get nervous. But he was fine. But it sucked, man. It sucked. Anyway,
you're here.
Yeah,
survived. You'll be back for another episode in a few weeks' time. Yeah. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We are going to be flooding you with
big year.
Great clips. We're going to get a lot of our old stuff out for some of you that are new and haven't checked out some of our old episodes. We're going to give you little daggers here and there so you can see what you've missed out on and go back, subscribe, click on it. It's going to be an awesome year.
Yeah, for sure.
But more importantly, because I'm with you, big guy.
Yeah.
From the free state of Florida, where Pam Bondi reigns supreme. Pam, I love you. Just keep kicking butt and get this country back on track. And to our new Congresswoman, Ashley Moody. She is a studette. She's going to crush it too. My boy, Marco, Secretary Steve's already doing great stuff. Love Marco. We are making America Florida.
All right, everybody, be safe on that note.
And don't forget to support your local Dunkin' Donuts.
Yep. All right, man. Dunkin' sucks.
Everyone. Take care.
All
Thanks
right,
so much.
later.